Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another video. It's Akil here with Akil Fitness Training Solutions. Today, we're going to take you through a quick little sequence for foam rolling, why you should do it, how you should do it, and I'll take you through a few body parts that you can do as well, okay? So grab your foam roller, hit the mat on the ground, now let's get it going. Alright, y'all, before we begin, you're going to need a foam roller. You can grab one of these at Walmart, Target, any sporting goods store. If you don't want to do that, you can actually head to Home Depot, right? Grab a PVC pipe and boom, that's a foam roller right there. If you don't want it to be as harsh, you can grab a bunch of foam and wrap it around it. That's pretty much what this is right here. PVC pipe in the center with some foam around it so it's not going to be as harsh. Now, the better you get at this, the more you do it, the more consistently you do this, the less you're going to feel it. So that's when the actual PVC pipe by itself is going to feel really good. So I have a bunch of different modified versions of this. I have one with a bunch of bumps and ridges on that. I have one that vibrates as well too, and that's just going to allow the foam roller to dig into your muscle tissue a little bit better and eat out those knots. Now, why do we do this? Okay, it's very, very good for longevity. If you want to be staying healthy and continue moving properly and feeling good for another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, I highly recommend doing this. Grabbing one, the 20, 30, 40, I think the most expensive one I've seen is about 60 bucks, right? And that one vibrated, right? So very, very good for your longevity, so I highly recommend getting this. If you're not doing this, you should at least be working on your flexibility, your mobility. You should be getting massages, once a month or something like that, right? But please do, if you have a couple minutes during the day, grab your foam roller, hit the mats, and let's check this out right now, okay? First up, before we begin, pop this down on the ground. Get into position. We're going to start off with our upper backs, y'all. So start up right here on the top, behind the head, or not behind the head, but in your upper back, your trap area. We're going to lift the butt off the ground slowly and then roll back and forth about 1 inch per second. Very, very slow here. When you feel a really bad knot, I want you to stay on that spot and start shifting left and right, and then move up and down about 1 inch. Until that trigger point releases and that knot disappears. Sometimes it's going to take 30 seconds, sometimes it takes a couple minutes, sometimes it takes 30 minutes, right? And sometimes you can't even get it out because it's going to take much, much longer than that. So you might have to find another technique or another way of releasing that trigger point. Now I've had to work on a couple points for about 2 hours sometimes, right? Just literally watching TV or working with my laptop on the ground and foam rolling, multitasking as well too, and that does help out. But not all points or adhesions are going to be the same, right? So take your time with this. If you don't have a lot of time, that's okay, right? Take 30 seconds for one body part, move on to the next one. Now we're still going from top to bottom here to the bottom of the rib cage, so make sure you're still spending time on a specific area if you feel any bad spots, but to the bottom of the rib cage and then move back to the top. I don't like to go down below the rib cage because there's not a lot of bony protection down here, right? All you got is your spine, and then you're just putting a lot of pressure on your organs. We don't want that. If you want to actually dig into your lower back, prop this up on the wall, and that's another way you can do that. All right, now, next up, we're gonna cross that right arm across the chest. Keep that left hand behind the head. Tilt your body to where all the pressure is on the right side, and go top to bottom once again. All the way up, all the way down, feel a bad spot, dig into it. You can rotate in, rotate out, going up and down. Go ahead and shift to the other side, same thing. Now this is going to move your body fluid a lot, okay? It's going to increase blood flow, it's going to knead out those knots. It's also going to have you feeling more relaxed afterwards. You might feel a really bad point of tension here, right? That's okay. Push through it if you can. If it's a lot of discomfort, then move on to the next spot, okay? If you can't take that pain, if it's really, really painful, move on to the next spot. We don't want to make anything worse here, okay? Perfect, okay. Now we're gonna hit the lats next. It's gonna be this tissue right here. So prop this up to where your arm is placed right above the foam roller. We're gonna put this pretty much in the armpit. Arm is gonna be across. We're gonna prop the butt up off the ground and start moving back and forth once again. Nice and slow. If you're not feeling this enough, I want you to lean forward a little bit. That might help you dig into your lats just a little bit more. And then you can also do another version of this where you prop the arm up and start moving back and forth as well. All right, going the length of your lat muscle. Feel any bad spots? Dig into it. Rotation. internal rotation, external rotation. Add some movement to the arms here. That's going to allow the foam roller to dig in a little bit more. And go ahead and switch it, other side, same thing. Right in the armpit, dig into that lat muscle. I feel a bad spot there, now I'm going to focus on it. If I want more pressure, I'm going to lift my butt off the ground even more and dig into that area with more force, right? And then arm up, sliding back and forth, up and down, and release the trigger point, increase the blood flow, and go ahead and relax. Perfect. Now, next movement. We're still gonna work on the upper body. Now we're gonna rotate the foam roller to this direction. We're gonna dig across the chest fibers and the shoulder joint as well too. So this is gonna be perpendicular to your arm, okay? So parallel to your body, perpendicular to the arm. Dig into the chest fibers here, prop that left leg up. Now my left arm is gonna be up off or on the ground here. My right leg is gonna be off the ground, sliding back and forth. All the pressure is on that foam roller now on that right side of my body, okay? I want you to slide over across the chest fibers and go back towards the shoulder. Now we're gonna add some movement to the shoulder joint. We're gonna go up and back down. Let it come all the way down and back up. If it's too much pressure, drop that leg. That right leg can come down to the floor and add that movement, okay? And go back and forth. You can slide in and out. Any bad spots, you know what to do. Stay on it for a little bit. Let's move on to the other side, same thing. Prop it up. Right leg is up this time. And you might notice, okay, one arm is typically going to be lacking a little bit more range of motion, okay? So that's typical for most people, and that's okay. That's why we work on these things. If you have a lot of muscular imbalances, foam rolling can help with that. You can also add a press into it, right? Going across fibers of the chest and into the shoulder joint. Nice and slow. You don't want to go fast, right? You're going to go about 1 inch per second here. Very, very slow. Let the foam roller do its work. And go ahead and relax. Next up, we're gonna hit the hamstrings, okay? So prop up to the back of your legs, like so. And we're just gonna start from the back or the top of the glute here. And then we're gonna roll all the way to the back of your knees, nice and slow. And if you don't feel that whatsoever, put one foot on top of the other or on top of the other leg and keep it rolling. Now all the pressure is on my right leg now, okay? Make sure you're not tensing up, you're not flexing this leg here. You want to relax that right leg and let that foam roller dig in. You can't dig in if you're flexing hard. Now what you can do, okay, is you can actually add some movement to it as well. I like to add a little bit of flexion and extension to it, and that's okay. All right, but this should be perfectly fine just to knead out those knots. You can also add some internal rotation and external rotation as well to the leg. Make sure you're doing both sides. Don't forget, it does not have to be this long, right? You can take 30 seconds for each body part, move on to the next area, move on to the next area. If you got 2 minutes, perfectly fine. Hit the ground, it's gonna help a little bit, trust me. Now, don't forget, if you're about to work out, this is gonna be a good addition to that warm-up, right? My opinion is, right, perfect warm-up for any workout. Do a little bit of general blood flow, right? Treadmill, jump rope, right? Something like that, the rower. And then you hit the ground, do some foam rolling, right? And then after that, do some mobility work, some dynamic movement. Okay, don't touch your toes for 30 seconds to a minute. We don't want to do that, okay? That's gonna decrease your performance. We don't want that. And go ahead and relax. Now we're gonna move on to the calves. Okay, we're gonna start off here from the Achilles, back of the leg, slowly roll. Now if you can't prop up on your hands, you can slide across the ground. All right, keep your butt on the floor and then just slide with your hands. That's it. Nice and slow. Add that internal and external rotation here. If you want more pressure, one leg goes on top. you're gonna find a good spot. Typically, you're gonna have some knots on your calves because we spend a lot of time on our legs, right? A lot of times we forget about the feet as well, so don't forget. Don't neglect that. So people will foam roll their legs, their back, their arms, and then they forget about their feet. You can do the foam rolling for your feet, or trigger point release with your feet, for your feet. With the ball, you can use a foam roller, you can use a stick, right? You can use your fingers, but don't forget to take time for yourself, y'all. We live in a time where things are just very, very stressful, okay? Trying to balance things, your life, your family, your work. So take time for yourself, okay? Make sure you're staying healthy. You want to do better, feel better, be better, right? And relax. Next up, y'all, we're gonna hit the quads, okay? This is probably my favorite as much as it hurts. All right, my quads are always tight. So we're gonna start off right around the knee area, right on the top of the knee, above the kneecap. Now I'm gonna add some flexion and extension to this, so we're gonna actually curl the leg in, and then we're gonna move a little bit and extend the leg. Any bad spots, dig into that area even more. Slowly extending. Sliding down slowly here. Curling it again, slowly extending. And then I want you to add some internal, external rotation as well. You'll feel some good spots here and there. Don't forget to breathe. One big thing, one big tip. You definitely want to control your breathing pattern throughout this. You're gonna wanna hold your breath at one point. Please don't do that, okay? You'll get dizzy, you might faint. Please don't. Nice, easy breathing pattern in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you feel a really, really bad tense spot, breathe through it, okay? And let's go ahead and switch to the opposite leg. Same exact thing. Starting from the top of the knee, we're gonna add some flexion to extension. Sliding down slightly. Flexion, extension, moving down to the next spot. Now I'm gonna switch over to the vastus lateralis, turn out to the side, add some internal, external rotation here. Woo. I found some bad spots here. And there's gonna be some areas that you really just can't take, and that's okay. Right, that's when using a softer foam roller comes into play. You really wanna start off with the softest one you can find. If you've never done this before, start off with a really soft foam roller. It's gonna show the amount of density that it has before you buy it. So make sure you feel it out. If you're at the store, feel it out, okay? If you're buying it online, make sure you check the densities. This pink one right here has a PVC pipe in the center, so it's pretty dense. It's pretty high level. After this, I would say you can bump it up to one with ridges and bumps. And all right, y'all. That was a quick little sequence for foam rolling. Wasn't that much, but I hope I taught y'all just a little bit of something. If you've already known this, you should be doing this already, right? So get to it, hit the ground for a little bit, spend a little bit of time on yourself, right? Do better, feel better, be better. So I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Now that we got the recovery out of the way, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, join the family, and hit that like button as well. I'll see you on the next video.